Yes, Landon, if you could walk us through when you're standing there on the sideline waiting to go in on the very first play of the game when the hole is left in the offensive line for John Schlerman's spot, what's going through your mind? What are the emotions as you're trotting out there to take your position?
The most emotions that just go through my mind is, we lost a member of our family, and more than a member of our family, but we lost our coach and someone that was basically a father figure to every single offensive lineman that's come through this program. So we're going to try to honor him any way we can because of just the impact and the influence that he had on all our lives. One of the toughest, greatest men I've ever had the chance to meet in my life. And, like I said, we left the spot out there because we're missing one of our Wildcats today. And another thing, just being able to have the opportunity to wear his number was it shows that they're so much bigger than football. It was a blessing for me. It was a blessing that he allowed us to do that before he passed away, and a blessing that his family still wanted to do it, that they were there and they could see that, I want to go out there and play my game elite anyways, but be able to do it for a little extra reason in that day with having that number on me.
Do you have any idea whose idea it was to do that at the start of the game?
Yes. So I know it was sort of a cumulative effort. I know that the coaches, they definitely wanted to go ahead and take the penalty, have a moment of silence sort of for coach and, show that we were missing a Wildcat. We actually decided right before in the pregame to sort of bump Luke out to tackle for that very first play so that Coach Sarman was a guard, when he played here. And I know he's always a guard at heart. And so we wanted to leave that spot open to show where he played and, represent that number well.
John Hale.
Landon, given everything you all have gone through this week, I think anybody would have forgiven you for not wanting to play or to, have that emotion hanging over you. Just what were the last 48 hours like and those discussions about how you wanted to honor Coach by playing so well today?
It was definitely hard, and it doesn't get any easier talking about it. But, we wanted to make sure that we did what he wanted us to do every single day. And I know he's sitting down up there watching us right now and, having the mentality and the grit that he had, he would not want us to sit down and feel sorry for ourselves for 1 second. The man never did it himself, even though he was pumping drugs into his body. And for goodness sakes, came out to practice not just hours after he had his first surgery there a couple weeks ago. And the last thing that he would want us to do is sit back, feel sorry for ourselves and miss a game or miss practice or not be able to do this or that. Just that's his mentality. He's a tough man and he loved his game of football. And at the end of the day, on one of the last sort of conversations they had for me, they said, Coach Sarman, why do you do this? Why do you still come out? Why do you come out after surgery? Why do you, bring such this effort and this attitude and everything? And his simple answer was for the team. And, you can't have a much better answer than that. A guy that's truly committed to the game of football and a guy that's truly committed to each and every soul that's out on that field. And what is best for us is growing us as men and being able to further us as a football player and have the best opportunity we can out there.
Jeff Drummond.
Hey, Landon, can you speak a little bit about, your relationship with Coach Schlerman went back a long time. You had committed to Kentucky early, and you had known him probably since you were, I think, freshman in high school, something like that. Just talk about the formation of that relationship and how he's, been such a big part of your life for a great part of it.
Yeah, so he was actually not the person who originally kicked off my recruitment my freshman year, but he ended up taking it over almost immediately when I started coming to camps. And then so they recruited me. I went to camps, a couple overnight camps, a couple day camps and everything. And with that, we started our relationship there. And like I said, this is year 8 that we had been around each other. And, that's a lot when you talk about a college coach and a recruit. Most guys have a chance to have a relationship with those guys for, 4, maybe 5 years, 6 at the most. And for me to be able to sort of start that relationship early, I always knew I wanted to play under Coach Sarman just because of the man he was. You got the same guy on the field as you got off the field. And he day one, when he started recruiting me, he sort of took me under his wing, and he wanted me to feel comfortable under him. He wanted to make sure that he was sort of a father figure, and the importance over football was developing me, and as a man, developing me in my faith, developing me in my character, and as I think he's done a dang good job of it. And as time goes on, we've created an even tighter relationship. All the hours that we put in together through camp, all the Sundays, everybody's off, and I'm sitting there in his office and we're watching film, or a bunch of the senior linemen are in there watching film. We've been through good years, we've been through bad years, but mainly we've been able to change this program, and I think a lot of it is due to him and the way that he's been able to bring our offensive line together, bring our team together. He's one guy that you can ask anybody on this team that no matter who it is, no matter what position you are, everybody loved Coach Slarman. He was just a guy that you could get along with. He was a tough guy, and he always brought the attitude. He always brought the mentality. But again, we've just been able to keep a really tight relationship. We know when to cut up, and we know when to be serious. And up until his last days, he was still coaching us. We had a chance to go see Coach Slarman, I reckon about a week before he passed away. Me, DK, Drake, and Luke. And I knew it was getting pretty bad at that point, but still, when we walked in there, he's just talking nothing but football, saying, man, y'all really got him after him at Georgia. He said, keep your heads high, keep swinging. He was texting all of us saying, man, I love you. I miss you. I wish I was out there, and I'm sorry that I'm not. And for a man that's going through everything that he is, and say, I'm sorry for not being there, it's hard. That man gave everything he had to this game. And I couldn't ask for a better coach to be able to spend my last 8 years with.
We got two more. Larry.
Yeah, Landon, appreciate what you just said about Coach. I know what he meant to you. You always talk about him as a tough guy, but on the other hand, there's a pretty soft, lovable, gentle side of John too. Could you just talk, maybe give us a few examples of some of that also?
You can start off with how he treats his kids and how he puts them as a priority. He puts his faith as a priority first, and then it's his family. And that's something he was always talking about, was his kids. And when we were able to go over to his house, you could see what a priority his family was, and that he loved every single one of them with every inch of his heart. Something else is just the way he loved every single one of us. He was vulnerable with us when he needed to be vulnerable. But I think that was sort of something that made us so close, is that he wasn't always the tough go get him. Like he was able to show emotion when he wanted to show emotion. He was able to show different sides of himself that made us respect him more as a coach. And even if that was he didn't want anybody else on the team to be able to see what he was going through and the struggles that he was going through, how much he was really hurting. But me, Drake, and some of the older guys, he really was able to sit down with us and sort of open up on one-on-ones and just be able to really learn what he's going through. Like, one of the last drugs he was on made it to where he could hardly walk, and it made the bottoms of his feet almost completely blistered. But he was still going out there every single day and racing us to drills when he could. He was making sure that he was showing that effort, even though he could have been at home resting. So that's sort of that sort of soft, sensitive side that he showed us, that emotion. He showed us that it's okay for things to go bad in life. It's just 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you react. And that's a face for that model. He 100% thought that life was 10%, and that's how he acted. It was 90% of how he reacted to what the situation got put into his life about.
All right, we'll wrap up with Mark's story.
John have taken special pride in this particular game because you basically played the whole game without your starting guards, and guys, came off the bench and stepped up.
Absolutely. That was, he was definitely looking down on us, and we had a bunch of guys on the team that want to fight for him as well. And some guys, he taught us from day one. When you're a freshman and you come in, one thing that he always told us is that one day your number's going to get called and you do not know when it is. And he tried to correlate that to life, and he got to correlate that to football. Freshman year when I was in the swamp, I had no clue that I was going to end up getting thrown in as a freshman down there. But my number got called and I had to step up to it. Same thing with Coach Sarman in his life. He didn't know when his number was going to get called to come to heaven and go see our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. But his number was called, and he was ready. His soul was ready. His heart was ready. And it's, it's selfish for us. We want him down here. But he's not suffering, and he left a great legacy around here. But I was really proud of Quentin Wilson. Quentin came in and right after the first play there and was able to play a really, really good game. I was really proud of him, especially being able to move from center to guard and not really playing the guard position before, even through the time he's been here, but really came out there and was a very dominant force on the offensive line. I felt like he had really good movement, had really good plays. But again, I think there's a line of guys behind us that are ready to do that, and they want that chance to be able to go out there and show Coach Sarman looking down on him that, he did a good job coaching us, and that this is the reason that they're going to be able to do what they're going to do. But again, I'm really proud of those young guys, and I think it really gives us a bright look into the future of what this offensive line is going to be.